Hey guys, what's going on? Legion Nuta here playing more RuneScape Dragonwilds. Welcome to episode 20 of our daily gaming XP grind. And right now we're going to be working on construction. So we pretty much got rid of everything out of our inventory, as we did realize last time that we really don't need any food or anything like that to do this. So all we're really going to need is the potions and the planks. So we did waste a little bit of room over there at the top, so we can try to fix that. But essentially what we're going to be working on this video is construction, as well as leveling up our magic once, because we sort of behind the scenes did most of the work to the next level. And you're going to notice now that I'm not necessarily concerned about how close I'm getting these, because what's going to happen is, yes, they're going to stay in the air after I delete the base, the bottom part, but basically, over time, they're going to fall on the ground on their own. So it's just going to take time, but we're going to be doing other things in the game while they're doing this. And we did place two lumber storages on top up here at two different spots. So that's going to allow us to have a fuller inventory, which is going to be very important, as you want to be going this slow. So you're going to want to fill your personal chest with planks, and that's pretty much the way you're going to be doing this. And then that's why you could do it multiple ways. You could leave them on the ground and pick them up as you go, but you're going to be running quite fast. So this is going to sort of like take up more space than really needs to be used. So I think this is really the best way to have lumber storage containers on top. So I guess you could run around after you're done and pick them all up and put them in lumber storages. So that could potentially be a good way. So actually, right after you initially start to run faster, because now you can hold more, you're going to want to stop really quick and then move again, because you're moving at an incredibly fast speed initially, but you don't really want to be moving that fast. It's just going to slow down the entire process. Not so much in a way of actually slowing you down, but you take up more space when you run that fast. That the gaps you could see over there's a couple gigantic gaps that don't need to be there. You want them to be as small as possible, as you want to fit as much as you can on top of these, because obviously that's going to be time saved by not having to run further than you need to, and as well as having to rebuild the foundations. It's going to help quite significantly with that. So you don't want to have to run any more than you already have to. Not run. You don't want to have to rebuild anything you don't really have to build, as that would it wouldn't make a lot of sense now, would it? Because it is going to take a little bit of time, unless you already got a lot of ash logs back at your base. You could just bring over here and rebuild this whole foundation in one go. So obviously it's already going to take a significant amount of ash logs to build all the planks you're going to need to do this in one run. But we got 47,000 XP almost just from that one time. And then we've got a lot more planks. We don't have any on our personal storage, as they're sort of all on the ground. So what was it, 46,000 XP so far? We got to keep an eye on that construction potion, as we don't want it to run out, as that will be a little bit of wasted XP. But this is crazy. I mean, it's a little bit just, I don't even know, right? You could say, oh, well, this is not even useful. Like, you're just getting XP. You're not really accomplishing anything. But that's pretty much what RuneScape is. A lot of you doing a lot of things that you've already done a ridiculous amount of times in order to get XP in the game. So I don't really think you could say that it doesn't have a purpose. The purpose is so you can actually get up to the next levels in construction eventually, and build better base structures, defense, so that way as the creatures get more powerful, you'll be able to protect yourself from warband attacks and things like that. So ultimately it does have a purpose. I know it's crazy, but at the same time, I mean, I've already built a ridiculous amount of structures, which I've got videos on. I built the Titanic. I've built pyramids. I built an amusement park. I didn't quite finish the amusement park, but the point of this is that basically I built a Warhammer 40k castle, and the point of what I'm trying to get at is that you're going to build a ridiculous amount of things along the way. But even having built all that, there's not really, I mean, I've got a lot of construction XP, but I'm just trying to get it. If you didn't do it this way, how else would you get the XP? What would you be planning to build? Because it's a survival game, and ultimately, you have to look at it as you only need a few bases, right? You only need to make a certain amount of chests. So if you're playing it just from a survival standpoint and you really weren't into grinding, I don't even know how you'd ever obtain the levels required to sort of get 50,000 XP, because that's actually quite a bit of XP right there. I mean, if you look at it, I think these only give 40 XP with the potion, right? So it's quite a bit of XP, really. So I just thought I'd sort of go into that a little bit. And we've sort of got some gaps, but I don't really think we're going to need all the foundations we've got here. But we had 46,000 XP before. So I'm interested to see how much XP I can get this time without having to stop, because there are planks on the ground that I'm sort of picking up as I go. And I know another lumber storage is behind me, and I'm not sure how many planks are going to be inside of that. But all I know is we're getting a lot of XP right now, and this is going to be important as our milestone for construction XP is 2 million. So I'm not quite sure how close we're going to be able to get to that today, but obviously it's going to be something that we do over time. That's not something that just happens instantly. But I still think this is incredible XP, and right now we're still picking up planks off the ground, and that's why I say it's actually kind of a good thing to leave them on the ground. Because once you've used the ones in your inventory, even if you bring a massive amount like I initially did, then what are you going to do? So it's very important that you have them on the ground to be able to pick up afterwards, because unless you've got lumber storages all over the place, but then they're going to be on the ground again, and it doesn't really make sense to just have to keep picking them up over and over again to put them in a lumber storage. This is just sort of how I do it, and I think it works out quite nicely. So right now we are looking at 50,000 XP plus the 46, so that's 96,000 XP. So once we hit 54,000 XP, then we basically can say that we got a total of what's that? 100,000 XP. So we're out of planks right here. So we were so close. So you're really gonna have a lot of planks to do this efficiently. But we weren't really paying attention on our construction potion. Sort of went out, I'm sure, quite a bit ago. So we did lose a little bit of XP there. So instead of getting 40, you're gonna get 46. So you actually get quite a bit more when you've got that construction potion going. So I think it's very important to make sure that that's activated, as I probably just lost easily like 2,000 XP or something like that. Potentially. Not quite sure the numbers, but you want all the XP that you can get, definitely. So 2,000 of that makes 100, so we're at about 105,000 XP right now, which is actually quite good if you think. I bet we're only maybe 12 minutes, maybe not even that into the video. So it'd be quite crazy. So if you wanted to do this and just get a ridiculous amount of XP, like, you would really need to have a ridiculous amount of ash planks. We used a lot of those earlier to get our artisan finally to level 3 million in the last video. So we did waste quite a bit. But now that we're actually comfortable with our artisan level, we're not going to be working on that anymore. We are going to be focusing on other skills. So what's that? 17,000. So 115,000 construction XP in however long this video is at this current time. And there you go. So we've got a lot of side tables. And all we have to do is, we didn't even use the whole thing here. All we have to do now, if you haven't seen my other videos, is basically take these things down. And most of the time, they're going to break themselves. And if they don't, that's okay, because you're going to be doing other things in the game, and they will break over time. So you don't even have to worry about it, as they've lost the foundation, and they're no longer stable. So you don't want to destroy ones you don't need to, that's for sure, because you have to come back and rebuild all this. And in one regard, you are going to be getting construction XP when you do that. But in the other regard, it just makes a lot more sense to let them destroy themselves, rather than have to rebuild any of the foundations, because this does take time. But you can see this is ridiculous. And I mean, I sort of found it by thinking, like, okay, certain things get destroyed when they don't have a foundation and they've got no more stability. So Sort of found it by accident. Glad I did. Don't really know how they could nerf it, even if they wanted to, because it would totally change the game with stability. I accidentally destroyed my lumber storage right there, so that's kind of unfortunate. But oh well, we can always build another one. So I can't even see what I'm clicking. I sort of got stuck. But ultimately, I know there's a lot of these that got left, but they will self-destruct eventually. But I still, yeah. So now next time I come here, I'm gonna have another load of ash planks, and then I'll be picking these up as I build. Once I get this far, the only issue with it is if you start at the other end, it would probably be better. Whatever end you start on, when you've got a mass amount on the ground, you're gonna want to start on the opposite. So that way, by the time, so I'd start way down on the other side over there next time, because what's gonna happen is I'm gonna come right here, and if I start right here, all these planks won't be able to be picked up because my inventory is already full. So just try to remember that, whatever side you started on and you have the most on. So these are all fine. They're going to self-destruct. We don't have to worry about that anymore. And we're pretty much going to check on our XP here in just a second, but I want to level up my magic while we're sort of out and about. So I took my staff away to make sure I had more room for ash planks. So let's go grab our gear back, and then we're going to go ahead and level up magic. And that's pretty much going to do it for this episode. But before we close out, we are going to be doing our XP update. But I want to sort of put all my gear back where it needs to go, and then we'll go from there. So I like to have that as number 5. Everything looks really good. I don't have any food, and I need my staff. So we need to find that. There it is. And then I put my food in here, if I'm not mistaken. I did. So we're going to put this here, put this here. Another thing I could do while I'm leveling up magic, I don't even know if I'm the right magic level, but you can use magic potions. Look at all those logs. So I actually picked these up along the way when I was rebuilding all that stuff. So that can be reused to build the foundation, or if you're going to be woodcutting a lot and you're not really that worried about it, you could make ash planks now with those, so that way you're sort of prepared for next time as well, however you really prefer to do it. But let's go find some stuff to kill really quick, so that way we can level up. It shouldn't take too long, as I think I left myself with just a little bit, yeah, just a tiny bit. I can't find any creatures. So once we do, we can get our magic level, and then we can give an XP update. Can't believe I missed that guy. Okay. So there's really not a lot of guys to fight right now. What's this? You know, and that's another thing. It's way better to fight things with a higher level. But the Garu that are level 4 are way harder to kill. That's for sure. And they pose a lot more threat. So I like to fight them with melee, as magic just seems to be no match, to be honest. So we've just got to find some more things to fight. Here's a bird. That's not going to give a lot. That gave 1 XP. So we've also got to get back into rune crafting. I just seen those, and then I thought to myself that we really have to start prioritizing that and remembering every time we're on to shoot down the stones, so that way when we go back there's a lot more of them. But this is not a lot of XP. Look at all these chickens. It's ridiculous. But they do have bird meat, I believe, so this will actually be kind of good for cooking. So let's go ahead and kill these chickens, and that should probably, there we go. So there you have it, magic level 42. So we're going to go back to the base, and then we're going to do an XP update, and then we're going to basically send you guys off, and then that will be today's episode. And we really appreciate you guys watching before we start on this. We appreciate all the time you spend watching our content. So 254,000 attack XP, we worked on that a little bit behind the scenes. 766,000 woodcutting XP, we worked on that as well, a tiny bit, not much. Construction 1,419,000, so we're definitely making progress there. Rune crafting 347,000 XP, magic 18,259, mining 4,006,000, artisan 3,012,000, and cooking 112,000. So we did a little bit of cooking as well behind the scenes. So anyway, guys, that's pretty much going to do it for this episode. We really appreciate you guys watching, like I stated before, and until next time, which is tomorrow, Legion Uta out.